The world taught you to look after yourself. The world taught you to look for number one. What did Christ teach you? Christ taught you to put Him first. Or better said, to have Him as the center. Because He is the center, whether you acknowledge it or not. So becoming Christ-centered is aligning your mind with reality. What the world tells you will trap you in the long run. So what Christ taught us was to forfeit self-interest. Self-interest, it has the word self, refers to relief for yourself. You want outcomes that benefit you, so you're left alone. It's really that you want to be left alone. That's what self-interest comes down to. Now, groups can have a collective self-interest, which is the group interest, and it can be, for example, that you have a Chinese minority that has the interest that the taxation laws of the host country become less strict because they're involved in all kinds of scams. Not all of them, but many of them are. So their interest is to be left alone, so there's no disturbance in the community. So they want the taxation laws to become less strict. But let's say now it comes to the light that they are involved in many scams. It can be that still the host country will cover them, not because the host country supports them, but because they don't want any disturbance in their society. So that's another form of self-interest. Look, if you have a group and you're part of a group, it's natural that you consider the people of that group quicker than people outside of the group. That is because in daily life, you're more involved with those people. And because you're more involved with them, it's natural that you consider them quicker than others. That's a practical thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It goes too far when you only consider those that belong to your group. Even to the extent that you prefer your own group, even if your own group is self-destructive. There's nothing wrong with being loyal to a group, as long as that loyalty doesn't become loyalty to evil. For example, if in your group there is sexual violence against kids that's rampant, then you can be for your group, and because you're for your group, you're against anything that harms the group. But what if your group has the attitude, you know what, this is going on, we turn a blind eye and everyone shuts up, nobody talks about it. If you want to be part of a group, you shut your mouth and you find a way to deal with it. And if it happened to you, then it's your fault. We want to hear anything. If that's your group, you shouldn't be part of that group anymore. Because now they are demanding you to agree with evil, to align yourself with danger. Now, in the world, a lot of people, because they don't have many options, because many don't, they remain with such a group. They turn a blind eye. Not because they have malicious intent, but they want to preserve the self-interest. And that can be understandable. However, you're still aligned with danger. Even though it's not your fault that the danger is going on, even though it's not your fault that you don't have many options, it doesn't matter. You're still aligned with danger. So Christ wants you to rely on Him. Christ wants you to align your mind with Him so that you're aligned with reality. So you should pursue Christ's interest. And listen to this. When you pursue Christ's interest, you are included. Because on your own, you can't achieve anything as a human being. You can't. You always need some structure around you or some environment or some context in which you can operate. And you also will need other people who are going to enable you. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if people aren't willingly to accept your influence, they resist your influence, then you have a hard time, no matter how talented you are. So nobody can achieve anything on their own, and no group of human beings can achieve anything on their own either. That's why you have international relations between countries or between ethnicities. That's how it goes. That's the reality. Christ wants you to rely on Him 100%. When you pursue His interest, you are included, because He's the Lord of all. He's the Lord of all the earth. So when you are aligned with Him, you're aligned with wealth, health, real abundance, long life, you align with quality, and you overcome the evils of the world around you. When you focus on self, you realize that you lack. You realize that you're vulnerable. You're weak. You realize that you have limitations. And now, this realization will frighten you. And to relieve yourself from this realization, you will seek compensation. And Satan is more than willing to offer you compensation, but every compensation he gives you will cost you in the long run. Or, as they say in the world, he will always come to collect. And the collecting will be very harsh and merciless. So, forfeit self-interest. Agree with Christ. Be at peace.